We helped Kartsing, a marketing agency owner, scale from $12,000 a month to $25,000 a month using YouTube. So in this video, I will show you the YouTube challenges he was facing before working with us, the exact YouTube strategy we used, and all of the results that YouTube brought to his business. So first, let me introduce you to Kartsing. Kart runs an e-commerce email marketing agency called Nightlink. He's worked with over 40 brands and generated over $6 million in revenue for his clients. But before we started working together, he was struggling. Revenue-wise, he was doing about $12,000 to $13,000 a month. He had just recently hit that number, but he couldn't break through. Now, he knew content was the answer. His mentor was actually pushing him hard to post at least 2 long-form videos per week. But here's the problem. When you run an agency or any type of business, your day looks like this. You wake up, you do outreach in the morning, then you're managing your team, then you're on sales calls, then you're actually delivering the work. And after all that, you still have a life to maintain. You have to work out, see your friends, and do basic human things. Now, creating content on top of all of that, it's a nightmare because it's not just recording the video. You have to come up with the video ideas, you have to script the entire thing, you have to record it, you have to edit it, you have to create the thumbnail, you have to write the title and description, and finally you have to post it. The reason Kart was struggling is because he was trying to do all of this himself. As a result, he was posting maybe once every 3 weeks, and when he did post, the quality wasn't good enough. The videos weren't converting and they weren't bringing in calls. So he knew content was the answer, he just couldn't execute on it alone. Now, what's the reason he decided to work with us? Kart was in the position where he knew what he needed to do, but he couldn't do it himself. I reached out to him at the right time and he decided to partner with us for a few reasons that made it different from everything else he'd seen. First of all, there is no bureaucracy. Kart told me that when he'd worked with other agencies or service providers in the past, this is what would happen. He'd sign up, pay the invoice, and immediately get dumped into a Slack channel or WhatsApp group with a bunch of random junior VAs he'd never heard of. And he would never hear from the main guy again, the person who sold him. Now, he told me that with us it was different. Kart talks to me directly every single day. I send him the Gamma docs with the scripts and I update him personally on his stats. The second reason is because we actually understand his market. This is a huge factor and Kart mentioned this specifically. Every single Gamma doc we gave him, the information was perfect. It was relevant to what was happening currently in the e-commerce email marketing space. It wasn't generic ChatGPT output. Now, we had never done email marketing ourselves, but we understood his audience deeply. We knew what questions they were asking, what problems they were facing, and what would make them click, watch, and book a call. The third reason was the time commitment, with 30 to 60 minutes per week being all Kart needed to spend in order to record the content. No more spending hours trying to come up with video ideas, no more stressing about what to say, no more hiring cheap video editors, and no more struggling with thumbnails. The promise to him was simple. You show up, record the script I gave you, and you send me the footage. Everything else, and I mean everything, we would handle. And the last reason he decided to work with us among hundreds of other options was because our focus. Most YouTube agencies focus on vanity metrics. They say something like, we'll get you 10,000 subscribers or we'll get you 100,000 views. Those metrics mean nothing if you're not booking calls and signing clients. However, we focus on one thing only, getting him qualified sales calls and clients from YouTube. No views, no subscribers, booked appointments with warm leads who were ready to buy. And to do that, we needed a complete system, not just video editing, not just thumbnail design, a complete content strategy that would position him as the obvious choice, pre-qualified leads, and make them want to work with him before they even got on a call. Now let's break down the exact YouTube strategy step by step we used to take Kart from $12,000 a month to $25,000 a month. So step 1 were the video ideas. The foundation of everything are the video ideas. And this is where most people fail because they are either copying what their competitors are doing or they are chasing viral topics that don't attract the right audience. For Kart, we did something completely different. We created 2 types of videos. First are the question first videos and then the social proof videos. And if you don't know what these are, let me explain them in detail. So the first type are the question first videos. These are educational videos that answer specific questions your potential clients are asking. And here's how we identified these questions. We looked at what Kart's potential clients, e-commerce brand owners, were actually searching for and struggling with. Then each YouTube video answered one specific question. Each video solved one specific problem that his audience had. For example, one common question was, how do I create an email marketing campaign that converts? Then we created a video titled, copy this email marketing campaign, it'll blow up your e-com brand. One question, one video. Another example is, how do I design emails that get people to buy? So we created a video titled, email design tutorial for Klaviyo email marketing. And third example is what email flows do I need to set up? So we made a video titled The Only 8 Klaviyo Flows You Need in 2025. Now here's why this approach works better than what most YouTube advice tells you. Most YouTube advice says to find outlier videos in your niche, videos that went viral, and then try to recreate that success. The problem is that you're trying to fit your expertise into someone else's video idea, and that doesn't work for business owners. The reason is because as business owners, you need to solve problems. And in order to solve problems, you need to identify those problems first and then make videos about them. So when you start with the questions that your prospects are actually asking for, your content naturally attracts the right audience. People who watch these videos are actively looking for solutions to their problems. They are qualified prospects, not random viewers. So these question-first videos attract new viewers who are searching for solutions. They build authority and position Cart as the expert and creates a relationship with the audience. But here's the thing, these videos alone won't get you as many booked calls unless you have many videos uploaded already, which wasn't Cart's case. So that's where the second type of video comes in, which is the social proof videos. To actually convert interested viewers into booked appointments, we needed social proof content. Now, there are two types of social proof content. First of all are the client interviews, and second are the case studies. Now, let me explain the difference and why we needed both. So, client interviews are videos where Cart sits down with a client who got great results and ask them specific questions about their experience. The client tells the story in their own words. The reason this is very powerful is because it's third-party validation. It's not Cart bragging about the results, it's the client explaining what happened. And case studies are videos where Cart breaks down the entire process from his perspective. He explains where the client was before, why they decided to work together, and what's the exact step-by-step process that took them to that result. And finally, what the results of that process was. Now, this shows expertise and gives viewers a clear picture of what working together actually looks like, which is the type of video I'm making right now. I'm making a case study step-by-step on what the strategy was to help Cart scale from $12,000 a month to $25,000 a month. Now, both types of social proof are critical because they serve slightly different purposes. First, the client interviews build trust through authentic third-party validation. They show the emotional transformation and not just the numbers. They address objections naturally when clients explain why they chose you, and they feel more genuine and less salesy. On the other hand, case studies demonstrate expertise and methodology. They show your strategic thinking process, they provide concrete details about the work you do, and they point a clear picture of the journey from start to finish. Now, Cart did a great job at getting his client amazing results, so as soon as he got them, he'd hop on a client interview and he would make the case study video as well. Now that you understand the two types of videos and why we need both, let's talk about how we actually scripted each type. So once we identified the video ideas, the next step was scripting. And this is where most people struggle because they either wing it, which leads to rambling and low quality content, or they spend hours trying to figure out what to say. We eliminated both problems by creating word-for-word scripts for Cart. But the scripting process is different from question-first videos versus social proof videos. So let me explain each one. So for question-first videos, we would create a complete word-for-word script that Cart would simply read while screen recording his Gamma Doc. And here's the exact structure we used for every single question-first video. Number one was the intro. We kept the intro extremely short because the biggest drop-off happens in the first 30 seconds. If we lose people here, nothing else matters. The intro had two components. Number one was the proof. We immediately established why Cart is the right person to give this advice. If the video was about email designs, we'd start with I've designed over X number of emails for e-commerce brands and generated over $6 million in revenue for them. If the video was about email flows, the intro would start with I've created over X number of email flows for my clients and generated $6 million in revenue. If the video was about email campaigns, we'd start with I've written hundreds of email campaigns for e-commerce brands. So the proof establishes authority immediately and it answers the viewer's most important question. Why should I listen to you? Now, after the proof comes the promise and plan. And remember, this is still part of the hook, which are the first 30 seconds. So we made a clear promise of what they'd get from the video and the plan of what we'd cover. For example, in this video, I'm going to show you how to design your emails for maximum conversions. I'm going to go over what most people do wrong when they design their emails and how to fix it so you can convert the maximum amount of people. So breaking this down, the promise is you'll learn how to design high converting emails, and the plan is we'll cover the mistakes to avoid and also the correct framework to follow. So this is clear, concise, and gives the viewer a reason to keep watching. They know exactly what they are getting from the video. Now, part 2 of every question first video was the main content, and this comes after the hook. So we structured the main content in 3 parts. Part number 1 was to point the problem. We started by showing how most people do things wrong. For example, if the video was about email campaigns, we'd talk about the mistakes most e-commerce brands make, including relying too heavily on discounts to drive sales, being inconsistent with the sending frequency, not segmenting their list properly, and sending generic and personalized emails that nobody cares about. Now, we didn't just mention the problems, we really painted the picture of why these mistakes are wrong, how they are destroying the results, and why they need to fix them now. We created urgency around the problem. So why do we spend so much time on the problem? Because the problem sells the solution. If there's no pain, there's no reason to implement the solution. And section number 2 is to present the solution. After making them feel the problem, we gave them the right framework step by step. The exact process for creating email campaigns correctly, or designing emails that convert, or setting up high converting flows, whatever the topic was. For example, if the video was about email campaigns, the solution might look like this. Here's the correct framework for creating email campaigns that convert without relying on discounts. Step number 1, step number 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, etc. And then we'll go deeper into each step, explaining exactly how to implement it. I would give Cart a complete word-for-word script with all the details, and he would just read it while screen recording his Gamma doc. The key here is that we made the content extremely valuable. We gave away our best frameworks for free, and we didn't hold back. And part 3 of the script was the CTA. And here's where we did something really smart that most people don't do. At the end of these short question-first videos, which usually last from 8 to 12 minutes, we didn't pitch them to book a call. And the reason is because they are not ready yet. Most viewers have only watched one video. They don't trust you enough yet to spend thousands of dollars on your services. So instead, we created a free 1-hour course that goes over everything e-commerce brands need for their email marketing. A 1-hour long video going over email flows, email campaigns, pop-up forms, email design, deliverability, list segmentation, everything. This is the video right here. So at the end of every short question first video, we would redirect people to that free course. And this strategy of pointing viewers to the 1-hour course did 3 things. First, it massively increased watch time because people would go watch a very long video, and watch time is one of the biggest ranking factors on YouTube. Second, it built a ton of trust and goodwill, and by the time someone watched an entire hour of your content, they trust you. They see you as the authority, and they've gotten so much value from you that they feel almost obligated to work with you. And third, it gave us a place to actually pitch. At the end of that long free course, that's when we would pitch them to book a call. But we could only do so because we'd already built so much rapport and provided so much value. For the shorter question first videos, we never hard pitched. We just sent them to more content. This way, people naturally booked calls with Cart instead of feeling like they were being sold to constantly. They'd watch the short video, go to the free course, binge watch the entire thing, and by the end, they'd be thinking, okay, I need to work with this guy, and they'd book a call themselves. Now, that was the scripting for the educational videos. Now, what about the social proof videos? And remember, there are 2 types. There are the client interviews and the case studies. The process for each of those is different. For client interviews, there's no traditional script for Cart to read. Instead, we gave him a high-converting question framework. Whenever Cart got a great result for a client, he would immediately set up an interview with them and ask them these specific questions in this exact order. So question number 1 was, where were you before working with us in terms of revenue, and where are you now? So this is the most important question, and it's the number 1 thing viewers care about. How much money can you make me? So we lead with results immediately, and we didn't waste time with small talk or background. We got straight into the transformation. Now, what would this question look for you if, for example, you had a fitness channel? For example, if you help people lose fat, your first question for a client would be, how much were you weighing before working with us, and how much are you weighing now? So the secret is adjusting these questions to your specific business. Question number 2 for Cart was, what were the challenges you were facing before working with us? So this identifies the pain points that the viewer is probably experiencing right now. This creates connection and makes them pay attention. Question number 3 was, among hundreds of options, what made you decide to work with us? This identifies your competitive advantages without you having to say them yourself. Your client explains why they chose you over everyone else, even before seeing your work. Maybe they liked your case studies, maybe they trusted your expertise, or maybe they appreciated your communication style. Whatever it is, it's coming from the client's mouth, not yours. Question number 4 was, Can you walk me through the process of working together? What were your responsibilities? What did the day-to-day look like? And what did I handle for you? So this points a clear picture of what it's actually like to work with Cart, and it removes uncertainty and addresses objections. Because viewers often wonder, what would working together actually look like? And how much time will I need to invest? Question number 5 was there anything that surprised you the most about working with us? So this usually reveals unexpected benefits that even you didn't think to mention. It adds depth and authenticity to the testimonial. Maybe the client was surprised by how responsive Cart was, maybe they were surprised by how quickly they saw results, or maybe they were surprised by how easy the process was. These surprise elements make the testimonial more believable and compelling. Question number 6 was, how do you see your email marketing in the next 6 to 12 months? So this paints the future picture and shows what's possible if someone works with you long term. And question number 7 was, what would you say to someone who is thinking about working with us but is still on the fence? And this is going to be the ultimate CTA for your viewers. Your client will probably say something like 100% work with him, schedule a call with him, give him a try, etc. This naturally invites viewers to take action without you needing to ask them. So Cart would hop on a call with their clients using this exact question framework, record the entire conversation, and send me the footage. Now that was for the client interviews. What about the case studies? And in this case, the scripting process was completely different because now Cart was the one talking, not the client. So first part of the case studies was where the client was before working with Cart. So we painted the before picture in detail, what was their revenue, their specific challenges, and what was their email marketing situation. The second part was why they decided to work with him. What was the decision point and what made the client choose Cart over other options? Part number 3 was the exact process step by step. So this is where we go deep and we explain everything. So the strategy Cart used for his client, the email flows, the campaigns, the pop-ups, everything. This is exactly what I'm doing right now, explaining how I helped Cart get the result. And the reason it's important to go in detail is because it shows expertise, it demonstrates that you know what you're doing, it builds credibility, and it gives the viewer a clear picture of what they get if they work with you. Part number 4 were the results. After laying out the exact process, you show the results with specific numbers including revenue increase, email attribution, pop-up form conversion rates, email list growth, open rates, click rates, ROI. We implemented these for Cart's case study videos. And part 5, after showing the challenges, the process, and the results, was the CTA. For case study videos, we would usually direct them to book a call. And the reason is because people who watch these videos are very down in the funnel and they just want that little push to know that you actually deliver results. Now this framework is powerful because it paints the complete picture from beginning to end. From the before situation that the viewer is probably in right now to the after situation they want to be in. So now that I showed the video ideas and the scripts we did for Cart, let's talk about the thumbnails. And this is where we're really differentiated from everyone else in Cart space. We looked at his competitors in the e-commerce email marketing world and we noticed something. Everyone had very similar thumbnails. Face shot of the creator, colorful arrows and graphics pointing everywhere, aesthetic, polished designs, and very YouTube looking. So we did the exact opposite. Instead of focusing on design and aesthetics, we focused on psychology and curiosity. Specifically, we use something I call cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is when something goes against your existing belief and it creates tension in your mind. Your brain doesn't like that tension, so you have to click to resolve it. So let me give you a specific example of how we use this for Cart. We made a video titled, I made $3.5 million in Klaviyo email marketing. Here's what I learned. For the thumbnail, we could have done what everyone else does. Cart's face looking excited, text saying how I made $3.5 million, colorful arrows and graphics, and pretty design. But that would look like every other thumbnail. Instead, here's what we did. The thumbnail showed bold text that said stop this with a large arrow pointing down. Below that arrow was a screenshot of a laptop displaying pop-up form that said 10% off. Now you cannot see it very clearly here, but here's the thumbnail we did. It's very simple, no fancy design, just those 3 elements. And the reason this works is because almost every single e-commerce brand relies on discount pop-ups to get email subscribers. It's what everyone does and it's what they've been told to do. So that cognitive dissonance creates an itch in their brain. They have to click to scratch that itch and they need to know what they are doing wrong. And finally, step 4 after everything was the editing. And this is going to surprise you the most because we did very minimal editing. But the editing approach was different for question first videos versus social proof videos. Let me break down each one. For question first videos, we used a very minimal editing style. No crazy cuts, no graphics flying across the screen, no B-roll montages, no fancy transitions, no music, no sound effects. The reason is because we wanted to build a relationship with the viewer, not overwhelm them with flashy edits. So here's exactly what we did. Card would open up with his Gamma doc, which I created for him with the complete script. He would start screen recording and he would simply talk through the framework while the Gamma doc was displayed on screen. That's it. The entire video was just Card's voice, his Gamma doc on screen, and him walking through the framework step by step, just like I'm doing right now. And the reason this works better than fancy editing is because when you're trying to get high-ticket clients, usually $5,000 to $10,000 deals, they don't care about fancy editing. They only care about three things. Do you know what you're talking about? Can you solve my problem? And do I trust you? So a simple screen recording with Card walking through a detailed framework answers all of those three questions better than a highly produced video with lots of fancy editing would. It's authentic, it's educational, it builds trust, and it positions Card as the expert. Plus, minimal editing means faster turnaround times, so we could edit it and upload a video much faster than if we had to add a bunch of graphics, B-roll, and music. Now, what about these social proof videos? So, for social proof videos, both client interviews and case studies, the editing approach was a bit different. For client interviews, here's what we did. Remember, Card would record a full interview with his client using the question framework I gave him. That interview might be 10 to 20 minutes long. Now, most people would just upload the entire interview from start to finish or maybe trim some parts. But here's the problem. The biggest drop-off happens in the first 30 seconds. So if you don't hook people immediately, they are gone. I went through the entire interview and pulled out the most important phrases, the ones that showed the biggest transformation. Then I created a highlight reel of these power phrases and put them at the very beginning of the video. So before the viewer even knows who's talking or what the context is, they hear the most important parts. Now, after that 30-second hook, then we'd go into the full interview in order, starting with the first question. This way viewers get everything they need to convert in the first 30 seconds. They see the results, they see the transformation, and they're already thinking, okay, I need to work with this person. And if they want more details, the full story, the specific challenges, and the process, they can keep watching. Now, what about the case studies? Well, for case studies, the editing was similar to the question first videos, was minimal and clean. Card would record himself walking through the case study script I gave him, usually with slides or visuals showing screenshots of the client's results before and after comparisons, examples of the emails we created, revenue graphs, and specific metrics. And I would edit it to be clean and easy to follow, but without overwhelming the viewer with too many graphics or transitions. The focus was always on the story and the transformation, not on fancy editing. So what were the results of all of this process? Well, in terms of revenue, Card went from $12,000 a month to $25,000 a month, which is nearly double his monthly revenue. In terms of YouTube attribution, from YouTube alone, Card is now booking 5 to 10 qualified sales calls every single month, and he's signing $5,000 to $7,000 in new deals every month directly from YouTube. And that's not counting the compound effect YouTube has on his other channels, which I'll get to in a second. In terms of the lead quality, the close rate on YouTube leads is 30 to 40%. And the reason is because those leads are warm. They've watched Card's videos, they've seen his results, and they trust him. By the time they get on a sales call, they are not skeptical, they are not price shopping, they are ready to buy. And finally, the compound effect on other channels. The leads you get directly from YouTube are great, but the real power is how YouTube supports every other marketing channel you are using. Card is running paid ads and doing cold outreach. So when people see his ad or get his email, they research him. They go to Google and type in his name, they check his LinkedIn, they look for his YouTube channel. And when they find a YouTube channel with high quality videos showing client results, case studies, and educational content, it massively increases the conversion rate of every other channel. And Card mentioned this specifically in the interview I did with him. Also on discovery calls, prospects would mention they've watched Card's videos before booking a call. And in terms of the time commitment, this is the most important result of all. Card went from spending hours every week trying to create content and failing to do it consistently to spending just 45 to 60 minutes per week recording. That freed up probably over 10 hours per week that he could spend now on delivering for clients, doing sales calls, managing his team, actually growing his business, and just living his life. So here's what all of this means for you. If you're a coach, consultant, or agency owner making over $20,000 a month and you're in one or more of these situations, you know you need to be creating content but you don't have the time. You've tried creating content but you can stay consistent. You're getting leads from other channels but they are cold and hard to close. You're spending hours every week trying to figure out what to post, or your content isn't bringing in qualified sales calls. then this system is exactly what you need. Here's what working with us looks like. You spend 30 to 60 minutes per week recording the videos. That's it. We handle everything else. We do deep market research to understand your audience. We come up with the video ideas based on what your prospects are actually asking. We write the word-for-word scripts with complete frameworks, or just the outlines, depends on how you like it. We do the thumbnails using psychology and cognitive dissonance. We do the professional editing, and we post and schedule the video for you. Now, if you want to work with us, click the first link in the description below to book a call with me. See you there.